Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to the Southern Wing of the Stinkbug Works. That super secret research and development division of Dr. Jet Laboratories, where we sit around all day and we invent things and we make stuff. Stand by. The boat gang's been lacking a little bit on videos, probably due to the Thanksgiving holidays and such eating into everybody's time. For Thanksgiving, I had somebody do it for me. That was great. Anyway, so I thought I'd fill in a little time with some thinking. As you saw, I ran the maiden voyage of the Micro Drifter, the Mozilla, and Secret Project X. Secret Project X had some speed control issues. It was getting low voltage cutoff, and so we're going to put a bigger speed control in it. The Mozilla 400, let's talk about that for a bit. I used a new motor, not an NEW motor, one that isn't old, but an NEU motor from Steve New. And one of the things about that boat, and in fact the Micro Drifter, is how do you know what motor you want to use? And the formula has been kicking around for a long time. For fun running, you want somewhere between 20 and 30,000 RPM. For racing, you want somewhere between 30 and 40,000 RPM. And if you're a crazy speed run guy like Big B, you want as many RPMs as you can possibly get. So I have limitations on my boats, and I try to set them up to those limitations. Instead of going for all-out speed, I'm looking for reliability and drivability. You can see that Santee Lake, is about the size of Big B's Park Pond. And instead of one fountain and three trees, one rock fountain and three trees, I have one rock and three fountains. But it's roughly the same size. And where I was standing last time didn't give me a good sight along the straightaway portion. I actually think if I got that Micro Drifter rolling on that straightaway, that thing would be doing in the mid to high 40s. That thing really moved out. And it's a 2S setup. 2S, and that sucker's moving. Anyway, I also look at wattage. What sort of wattage has this hull been successful with in the past? For the Mozilla, for example, my thinking on that was this was designed around a Speed 400 motor. A Speed 400 motor is 50 to 75 watts. You could probably get away with twice that, so 150 watts. So I looked at motors that were roughly 150 watts. And looking down where, with my cell count and the KV, I could get an RPM that was reasonable and some real-world experience in picking propellers and such. And you can get pretty darn close. As you saw, the Mozilla ran right smartly. It was quick from the get-go, and nothing ever got warm. So I'm going to leave that as is. I think I'm going to work on the self-riding. Like I said, I made the rudder a little longer, so it'll be out with me next week when I get to go out again. I don't know if I'll take the Micro Drifter the next time. I might take the Bat Boat. The Bat Boat still needs some dialing in on the trim tabs. First time I ran it with nothing on the back and it was out of control. It did bat turns. And then I put turn fins on it, and that helped a little bit. but it seemed to be listing as it rode, so I need some trim tabs to get that trim about right. Speaking of selecting motors and batteries, see, here's another one. This is a gamble. These are fairly low kV motors. I think these are like 2,500 or something like that. So I'm going to run them on 3S, and I'm going to turn, where are they? I think they are 30 millimeter props, which on this hull, they look huge, but that's the smallest I can get in counter rotating unless I were to go to these plastic props. Now stand by. Hello. Please stand by. We've had technical difficulties. These plastic props are counter rotating, and you get like a dozen of them for $5 or something like that. They're really cheap. The only drawback is they have a 2 millimeter hole. Now, I can always make a shaft that steps down to 2 millimeters, or, using some telescoping tubing, come up with something. But for now, these are just sitting in the back. On the micro drifter, I'm using a pull-pull arrangement, and right now I have a piece of this 16th capillary tube. You could also use 16th inch brass tube that acts as a seal on this 32nd music wire as it goes through the through hole, and then you grease this thing up and it gives you a seal. Well, I've been thinking about replacing the music wire in the pull-pull arrangement with some braided stainless cable. And in fact, that's what I did in Secret Project X. I actually put a loop in this end going through the servo end. The problem is when I swaged it, I used these aluminum swages, and as you squish them, they spread way out, and they take up a lot of room. Secret Project X is at a premium for room. So I looked at these little stainless steel swages. Now these, when you squish them, aren't going to get any longer, and they're only an 1/8 of an inch to begin with. The aluminum ones were like 5/32 or something like that. They were a little bit bigger. Anyway, there's one drawback with these things. These are expensive. These are $1 each. This little package right here in my hand. Boys and girls, may I have your attention? This is $10. I mean, hell with buying gold and silver. Buy these. They take up less space. Jeez. So anyway, and then this little guy. Let's hope for the best on this little guy. Again, that's part of the fun with these micros is you're going where no one has gone before. How do you power this? Is this enough? Is this too much? We'll find out. That's part of the fun of the game in Tinker, Test, and Tune. Okay, boys and girls, I'm having technical issues with my camera. As you can tell, I hope you're having as much fun as I am. Until next time, boys and girls, jet out.